Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot, oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker, and tonight we have a very special supernatural health segment. We have two experts. They are world-renowned on the subject of stem cells. We're going to bring them on in just a few moments. We are so excited about this show. We've had so many people calling me all day long, very excited to hear from our experts, Ricardo De Cubas and Dr. Maritza Novus. So let me first say hi to PK. PK, how are you today?
Absolutely. Shall we say, he's really heated up about what's going on, and the weather doesn't help either. It just adds to the heat.
Great. That's great. I know you. Yes, tonight is going to be spectacular, and that's why we have so much interest and so many people lined up here. I see so many people that have called in to listen to the show and ask questions, so feel free to call in and ask a question. The number is 563-999-3539. Those of you that know me can send me a text, and I'll take it from there. So, PK, we're in a new month. You got to tell us what we can expect.
Well, I think we've all been there because this is a month that deals with family, relationships, and wanting all things to be perfect. What we're doing this month is reviewing last year, whether we like it or not, but it gives us an opportunity to kind of tidy up a few things that we let slip by. August is going to be that review of where we've been, but it gives us opportunities, like I said, to reduce some of the issues that kind of we've let go unattended. So the basics that we're going to find this month deals with home, family, even family pets. All things are important right now, but look at the opportunities for redoing things in the home or anything that revolves around the home. And you're going to find that it's a great time to bring family members together. It's a good idea to share thoughts, put things together, and change what you may to make the family do better, because it's all about making our world much more user-friendly, we'll call it. You may not want to be able to join together personally, but share little things. Just share a menu, share ideas, bring things about where you can reach out and touch those that you really care about. Because this is a time when relationships can be made or broken, and it's a time when we need to be aware of all of us what we need. The bottom line is, share a smile. It'll make a difference in somebody else's day. Enjoy the sharing. Enjoy that you give others by simply letting them know that you are aware that they're there. A smile goes a long way. So that's kind of where we're at this month.
Well, it sounds a little lighter, so that's good. We need a little lightness.
We've definitely
had some big stuff going on in the world, so it's just nice that we can maybe think about making somebody else's day better. Yeah, that's good. That's very good.
But we forget, just a simple smile can make a difference to someone.
It can make them feel that they're cared about, and that's so important. It really is.
Oh, God.
So tonight, as I mentioned, we are not doing paranormal stuff. We are doing supernatural health. Now, this is leading edge, and I can personally speak to it. I'm a big proponent of this type of treatment, and we wanted to have two experts on to talk about what's happening in this field. It's really exploding, and what the implications are, and how can this help people with people that have horrible autoimmune diseases and orthopedic injuries that aren't healing. All kinds of things can be positively affected by stem cells. So tonight we have two fabulous people. We have Ricardo De Cubas and Dr. Maritza Novas. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about Ricardo. He is the founder, president, and CEO of Regenestem, and he is the former founder of Global Stem Cells Group, and that holds a unique position at the forefront of the fastest growing trend in medicine, stem cell technology. Now, Ricardo is quite amazing. He's a results-driven motivator with a firmly established history in medical sales team management. He has been instrumental in promoting physician training and patient procedure sales in excess of $2 million, with a database reflecting 20-plus years of contacts worldwide. Now, those who know Ricardo or have worked with him recognize the important role he serves when it comes to building and expanding an effective team. Now, Ricardo was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota, to Cuban immigrants in 1969. Now, Ricardo acquired his interest in medicine from his father, who was a physician, and in 1985, the family moved to Miami, paving the way for Ricardo to explore a variety of interests, including sports, music, and travel. I'm telling you, this guy has done it all. And he is amazing at the level of information and knowledge that he has about stem cells. Now, also at the forefront of the medical aesthetic and anti-aging medicine since 2001, we have Dr. Maritza Novas. She is also a member of the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine since 2004. Now, 10 years of contained experience with facial aesthetics, hormonal replacement, and nutritional therapies, liposculpture, and fat transfers. Now, Dr. Novas is currently completing a molecular biology master's degree, as if an MD wasn't enough. She is a pioneer in the use of stem cells for the treatment of chronic degenerative conditions, and has provided physicians internationally with not only the knowledge of proper procedure and protocol for the harvesting and isolation of adipose, bone marrow, derived stem cells for autologous reimplantation, but with problem-solving methods to improve patient outcome. We all want that. Welcome, both of you, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you for having us.
Well, my goodness. We are so excited. It is totally our pleasure. And there's so much to talk about. I'm not even sure where to start. How about, Dr. Novas, let's start with you. How did you get interested in stem cells?
Well, I already had some experience when I graduated in Cuba. More time that I would love to meet. I did a fellowship of research in the biotechnology lab in the University of Havana. So I was kind of fascinated by the lab work and how cells worked. At that point, we were not working with stem cells. We were working with lymphocytes, which that knowledge has helped me a lot. Knowing the immune system in detail just because of that fellowship has helped me a lot in this endeavor of regenerative medicine and stem cells and such, because the power of the stem cells, and like you said, we have so much to talk about, but the power of stem cells, one of the most amazing powers they have is that they're immunomodulators. So they're capable of influencing the immune system as an anti-inflammatory and as an immune modulator. But down the road, we'll give more details in regards to that. Now, when I am by trade an emergency room physician, but my interest in anti-aging medicine took me to know about 20 years ago, to know a physician that was working with platelet-rich plasma. 20 years ago, we didn't know much about it. But he himself was a pioneer. He's an orthopedic surgeon. He was one of the few guys that were enthusiastic about using the power of platelets for regeneration. So that got me involved into that. And at that time, I had gotten to know Ricardo, and we were working together. So we did a lot of research in regards to that. And we came across to a company in Australia that was led by a wonderful, extremely intelligent physician, and also a molecular biologist himself. And we started learning about stem cells and what he was able to do in the lab with animals, and then the studies that he had running already in patients with pulmonary fibrosis. And that study was being run in Greece at the time. And the results were amazing. So we started figuring, hey, we have to get into this. We were extremely excited about it. So at that time, really, we did not have any formal education as we do now. There are a few fellowships available for physicians now in UCLA, in London, in Harvard University. But at that time, 20 years ago, we didn't have formal training or anything. Regenerative medicine itself was not a specialty, was not something that people knew. So the basis of my knowledge initially was just downloading papers from PubMed and from different sources, international sources, and read as much as I could. So I had to kind of learn basic science all over again. And that's why I was telling you that fellowship that I did while I was really young in Cuba helped me a lot to understand. And we started very discreetly applying this type of autologous therapies. We started doing PRP, and then we went ahead and started using adipose derived stem cells. And we started actually seeing amazing results. I have stories that I was telling you. I believe I was telling you or your husband at one point. If I hadn't been the physician involved in getting those results, I wouldn't have believed it.
Really?
Some of the doctors would come to me and tell me that story, and I would say, "No, my friend, that's impossible." But I saw it myself. So we started tweaking protocols, and we started adding more products to our portfolio in regenerative medicine, and we started picking conditions that would give us very good results and trying to accumulate data. And at this point, 20 years after, we kind of have a pretty good idea of the patients that will get good results and the protocols that we have to follow with different patients. And it's important to know that this is a therapy, it's not a cure. So we have fine-tuned protocols that are tailored to a specific patient. So some people with, say, knee osteoarthritis, we would treat them with one source or with another one, and we will add different products to the treatment and such, and that's to put an example only. And that comes from the experience of doing hundreds of cases all over the world. So I hope I'm not talking too much.
No,
not
Dr.
at all.
Nellis, this is perfect information because we need this kind of introduction. Can you tell us what is, now I know you use exosomes, you also use stem cells. What is the difference between an exosome and a stem cell?
Well, let's start from the beginning. Everything starts with a cell. A cell is the minimum living unit in your body that is capable to replicating independently. So we have several types of cells in our bodies. We have what we call somatic cells, which are all the cells that are committed to do something, and they look a certain way. For example, cardiomyocytes, the cells from your heart, those are somatic cells. Your skin cells are somatic cells. Your hepatocytes, your cells from the liver, those are cells that are committed to do some function in the body. Then we have what we call gametes, which are the sexual cells, the cells that are in charge to reproduction. And then we have the stem cells. The stem cells are in charge of regenerating tissue. That's their main function. So we have in the liver, we have hepatocytes, but we also have stem cells, local stem cells, that are the ones that regenerate the organs. Now, there are several types of stem cells. You have stem cells in the bone marrow, you have stem cells in the adipose tissue, and you have stem cells that are very specific to a specific tissue. So you have all sorts of stem cells. Now, the cells communicate with each other through exosomes. I like to call the exosomes like the FedEx of the cells.
Oh, okay.
When you have regular mail will put your mail in the mailbox. So they really don't know whether you went out and picked it up or somebody picked it up for you or whatever. Now FedEx knocks on the door at the door and makes sure the package is inside. So that is the function of the exosomes. The exosomes have very valuable biologic cargo that is sent from one cell to the other. And it's like a FedEx thing. They knock on the door and the receiving cell opens up a port and the information goes in. So that is why the importance of exosomes in this regenerative medicine world. Because mesenchymal stem cells, which are the cells that we find in adipose tissue and umbilical cord, the cord from the babies, and the bone marrow, those cells are the most powerful immunomodulators and anti-inflammatory and stimulators of the division of other cells. So these cells do that work through exosomes. They don't do it any other way. And that's a question that I get a lot from patients. They tell me, well, if you got this cell from the fat and you're putting it in my blood, how do they know where to go or what to do? And why are you giving me the same cell for the diabetes and this same cell you're giving it to me for COPD? Well, because this cell is not intended to become a cell from the pancreas or a lung cell. They are intended to release a plethora of exosomes that have cargo that's going to go stimulate the local cells, the local progenitor, the local stem cells to regenerate the tissue. And that is pretty much how it works.
Thank you for explaining that. It's the first time I've understood exosomes. You explained it beautifully. Thank you. So you understand it now too, PK, right? You get it too?
Yes,
it's a great
I do.
explanation. Excellent. Yes. Go ahead, PK.
Go ahead, Patricia.
No, you go.
Are there certain areas of which you, say a person that has a heart issue, is there a way that stem cells could work with someone with their heart.
Yes. As a matter of fact, there is a phase 3 clinical trial that is being run using mesenchymal cells from adipose tissue that are being injected directly into the myocardium for people with cardiac failure.
That's
so
wonderful.
yes, you can use stem cells for cardiac issues. Now we will have to review because some cardiac conditions will not respond the same as others. So it is important for all the physicians that do this to take a look at the clinical history, the medical history of this patient, and the condition that this patient has, and what degree of affection the patient has before we make a decision whether we're going to use this type of cell or this other type of cell, or if this condition really will not improve importantly with stem cell therapy.
Let me ask you a question. I personally have osteoporosis. Will stem cells work for me?
Yes.
It will?
Now,
it will
we would recommend we would recommend to do adipose-derived stem cells or donor stem cells from the umbilical cord. Now, it's important for everybody to know when we say umbilical cord, it's the cord of the cord or the placenta of a baby that has already been born. So the baby is alive and well when the baby is born, and normally we toss the placenta and the cord. Now that is a very rich tissue in very new 9-month-old stem cells that are naive, that don't have any other information, that are ready to work. So we use those as donor cells. And this type of cell you can give from one patient to another. So it's important to know that when we say in umbilical cord stem cells, we're not talking about embryonic cells.
Okay.
Embryonic cells are the cells that are obtained from the blastocyst, which is when the pregnancy starts. That can be done in a laboratory, can be obtained in a laboratory, like a lot of fertility clinics do, or can be product of abortion. We do not work with that type of cells. As a matter of fact, it's illegal in the U.S. to treat anybody with embryonic cells. So we don't use embryonic cells. We use adult cells, either from the fat, from the bone marrow, from the blood, from the umbilical cord, blood or tissue, or from the placenta. Those are the sources that are normally being used. It has nothing to do with embryonic cells, because people tend to confuse the term stem cells with embryonic stem cells, and you have a whole bunch of really good, healthy adult stem cells that you can work with.
That makes good sense.
Yeah.
What a person that has had cancer? Is there an issue working with a person that has gone through cancer treatment or has cancer at this point in time? Will the stem cells work for that individual as well?
There is a lot of biologic treatments that are being researched right now, and a lot of trials with biologics, like, for example, natural killer cells or dendritic cells that are used to treat cancers. Now, mesenchymal stem cells are not used to treat cancer at all. And we do not recommend to go that route using mesenchymal cells. There is, like I said, a lot of other biologic products, cellular therapies that can be used for patients with cancer. The most common one is the natural killer, autologous natural killer cell therapy. But that's being researched for certain types of cancer. Unfortunately, not all types of cancers are being researched on that or can get results using natural killers. But definitely, mesenchymal cells had never been used for cancer.
I see.
How about for orthopedic situations? Like as PK mentioned, she's had osteoporosis and quite a bit of pain and trouble with that. And a lot of people have injuries or they have had to have hip replacements, knee replacements, things like that because the joint is just too far gone. Would this treatment help them?
Yes. Well, after you had the total knee or hip replacement, what we can do is use it for soft tissue, but that joint is already gone. So there is not much that we can do now. When you have osteoarthritis, which is the most common ailment in the United States is osteoarthritis. Everybody does have osteoarthritis. And it responds beautifully to the stem cell treatments. Normally, we do intra-articular injection of the cells, and the longest the longest follow-up that has been done in patients with osteoarthritis of the knee was done in Korea. They follow patients for 7 years, doing biopsy and doing MRIs. And it was demonstrated that in 97% of the patients, the cartilage grew and patients were out of pain. So it is a very successful treatment for sports injuries, for orthopedic ailments. Now, it's important to know that when something needs surgery, it needs surgery. For example, if you have a complete tear of a ligament in your knee, you have to go and attach it together through surgery. Now, stem cells will help with recovery. Stem cells will avoid stiffness and scarring and fibrosis, but if you need to reattach the tendon or the ligament, you have to do it. Cells are good for what they're good for. That's another important thing. But we have treated a lot of high-performance athletes, for example, and the results are outstanding. And we already know because it's pretty popular among the athletes in general, and we know a lot of famous people that have come out and said, "Yeah, I had stem cell treatment for my injury and such."
Not to go backwards, but I want to ask you again about the osteoporosis, because at this point in time, my spine is pretty well. It's a lot of negativity. It's dropped down. They tried doing different things. Is the stem cell, will that help what is left of the spine, or will that reinforce it to make it stronger?
Well, we will have to take a look at all your medical records, like I said, and DEXA scans.
Good to know.
But potentially, yes. You will find relief. We would do, normally for osteoporosis, what we do is intravenous injection of mesenchymal stem cells. And, I don't know that it's going to straighten up the spine, but it definitely will help with bone density.
Yeah.
Wow, terrific.
Avoid any additional damage to what's already there. So like
I said, in any case, if in a lot of cases, if we stop the condition from progressing, that is in itself a good result.
Definitely. Yep, definitely. That's good to know. There's so much out there that we don't understand, and what you're talking about is, in a way, for many people, it's like a bit of a miracle, isn't it?
I didn't get that one. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
it's a miracle because we are used to only hearing. Yeah, because most people are listening to traditional doctors that only have drugs and surgery, and that's it. And drugs and surgery they make us pay a price in a different way. So hearing about this, it is miraculous. And I experienced this miracle. You know my original doctor. Both you and Ricardo knew Dr. Berman in California, who was also a big pioneer in this field. And I had scleroderma, very aggressive case at the time. I thought I was on the way out. And I had the treatment from Dr. Berman with intravenous stem cells derived from adipose tissue. And my symptoms, which were horrible, stopped overnight. And I had 5 months symptom-free, which was a miracle. It really was. And then it slowed the progression of the disease over the years. So it gave me both of those benefits. And I tell everybody about it, and they also find it hard to believe because they know how devastating scleroderma is. And last week I had the pleasure of meeting both of you, and I had another treatment. And I have to report that I am feeling so much better. It's only been a week, and already I am seeing scar tissue recede. I am feeling more like myself. I've been able to actually get back to working out, which I couldn't do most recently. I was too tired and too stiff from the scar tissue from the scleroderma. So I can say personally, Bible, it works, and it's an amazing, amazing treatment with no side effects. I had no side effects at all. This is side effect free, which is terrific. So
I am thrilled to hear that. But I kind of knew it was happening. It was going to happen.
Well, thank you. And just so everybody knows, I call Dr. Novus Dr. Gentle. She is a fabulous, fabulous doctor. And it really was a pleasure working with you, Dr. Novus, and I hope to in the future as well. So let me get to Ricardo. We want to talk about the clinic. And Ricardo, how did you form this clinic and get into this? Because you're instrumental in bringing people to the clinic and also visiting people outside of the clinic so they can have this treatment. How did you get started with this?
Well, actually, that introduction was awesome, by the way, Patricia.
I know you live up to it.
I sound extremely important. But I appreciate that. That was really nice. Anyhow, I got involved in regenerative medicine, actually working with Dr. Novus back in 2009. So we've been working together since 2009 and treating patients since 2009. We actually started working with COPD patients with chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, and with the protocols from Dr. Paspaliaris at Adistem from Australia, and we started working with pulmonary patients, and the results were just outstanding. I mean, patients were improving their pulmonary function tests. They were improving in the 50-meter walk. They were using less oxygen. I mean, the results were, like Dr. Nova said, that, if you don't see it yourself, you won't believe it. And, now you fast forward, and there's been many, many studies for COPD using adipose mesenchymal stem cells. I also had the pleasure, we have a protocol, which is a V-cell protocol, which is a very small embryonic-like cell, which comes from the peripheral blood, which is quite controversial. There's doctors that believe that stem cell doesn't exist, and there's doctors that actually discovered it in 2012 in India that discovered the cell. And we actually developed that protocol in Cuba when there was a window there in 2016. From 2016 to 2018, there was a window where American companies could work with Cuban. We actually work with Cuban academics to develop and fortify our V-cell protocol. And that actual V-cell protocol has been taken to the Stem Cell Center in Abu Dhabi, which is run by 2 Cuban doctors, and they actually did a study just using the V-cells from the peripheral blood to treat COVID patients that were severely ill and were in extremely bad shape, and 94% of the patients improved under this study. I believe it was 240 patients. 94% improved using the V-cell protocol. So, I mean, the results that we've been getting, with our protocols are really quite extraordinary. But back to the clinic, we've actually been in the same location here in Plantation, Florida, which is 15 minutes from the Fort Lauderdale International Airport. We've been in this location for the last 7 years. And it's a small space. It's really a concierge clinic. We won't see more than, if we have IV patients, we won't do more than 3 in a day. If we have orthopedic patients, we can do a little bit more, but it's really a concierge service that we provide. The patient, gets to speak with the doctor, has direct contact with the doctor, has direct contact with myself. We answer all their questions. We give them our cell phone number. If they have any issues, they're able to contact us directly, and we're very, very hands-on. We understand these treatments are novel. They're not cheap. So we want to make sure that the patient feels comfortable and understands exactly what they're going to be getting and what they're getting into, what results they can expect. Is there any side effects? We answer all their questions, and we make sure that they're comfortable. And when they're here, our attention is fully on that patient, for the 3 to 4 hours that the treatment takes. And afterwards, we do an excellent follow-up with the patient the next day and for months to come, just to make sure that everything's going well, and to track them to see if they need any follow-up treatments. So it's really, really a hands-on concierge type of clinic. That's what really differentiates us from a lot of the clinics that are out there. We're just very, service-oriented.
That's important. That's wonderful to know.
Yeah, and both of you also, I have to restate this, you've both been involved in stem cells for a very long time. I mean, this is nothing that you're just jumping on the bandwagon with because there's a way to make money with this. You've been involved with this for many years. You've been involved with the research of it. And that's, one of the reasons that I tell people that you both are the ones to work with on this, because of your history with it, your understanding of it. There's so much that you bring to the table when it comes to these treatments, and they're not inexpensive. Can you give us a range of cost? And now keep in mind, everybody, that also this clinic, Regenestem, offers financial situations where you can make payments. So there you can work with it over a period of time, and so it's not just one big output, which is helpful to some people. But what's the range on this in terms of price?
Well,
I know it's different for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we can do a PRP for as little as $500 to inject a joint, and then treatments can range if you start using umbilical cord and exosomes. They can go into depending on the patient's weight, because the dosing has a lot to do with the weight. We usually like to do 1 million cells per kilogram of body weight. So if you're using donor cells, it can go anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000, depends. And also if you use exosomes, We also have an excellent service, which is banking. We have the ability to take the mesenchymal stem cells from your adipose tissue and take a sample and send it to a company here called American Cell Technology, which is actually, fortunately and conveniently, 10 minutes from our office, and they can culture expand your fat cells for future infusions. And if you decide to do that treatment along with a point of care treatment, that service can run you $5,000. But over time, if you need more infusions, if you have something that's neurodegenerative or autoimmune that may need multiple treatments, it may be cost beneficial to go ahead and have your cells banked so you have those cells there for the rest of your life, and you have as many as you need for the rest of your life. So that's another excellent service that we provide. So we can inject a joint. A joint injection can be anywhere from $4,000. We can do lumbar spine depends how many levels, but let's just say anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000, and then we have the IVs and the banking. So I would say we can go as little as $500 to a PRP to a full-blown umbilical cord with exosomes. It can run as much as $20,000. We can also do more. We can do, for example, we have a great partnership in Cancun, Mexico, where we can do, we have a cardiologist there who's phenomenal. His name is Dr. Rafael Mogel. And if somebody has, a CHF or anything like that, we can do catheterizations directly to the heart with stem cells. So there's a lot of things. We work with autistic children, so we can treat autistic children. So there's a lot of different conditions that we can treat. And again, the prices vary, but you can have an idea. A PRP can be as little as $500 to a full-blown treatment being upwards around $20,000.
Well, that's very helpful.
Once this is taken care of, excuse me, Patricia, once a person has received the treatment, how long can they feel that this treatment will last? Does it have to be redone along the way, or is it one time and it takes care of it?
Doc, you want to go ahead and answer that?
Well, like I said at the beginning, this is a therapy, not a cure.
Mm-hmm.
So some conditions are going to definitely need a follow-up treatment. Mm-hmm. But some other conditions with our protocols will take only one session. It depends, like I said, on the patient, on the biologic status of the organism, that the level of the condition, the bioxidative stress that this patient has, etc. It can vary. Normally, patients feel difference and improvement within the first month, and it could take about a year, 8 months to a year, symptom-free or with a slowdown of the condition. Some people need a treatment before. Then some of the protocols will call for infusions every 4 to 6 months. So it all depends on the condition and the bioxidative stress on the patient, and age is an important factor, lifestyle and such. So there will be case by case.
Is there a time when a person is too old to find this beneficial? What would you consider the best age group? Doesn't matter. That's good to know.
There is no age that would not improve. I like to tell the story. My mother is 88 years old, and she's been getting stem cell IV every 4 months for the past 3 years. Because at one point we figured she is a very, very healthy person. She doesn't take any medications, fortunately, but she started becoming very frail. And at that point, she herself realized, after I offered her the treatment 10,000 times, she realized that she needed it because she felt frail. She felt that she was becoming incapable. Now, every 4 months, she reclaims her treatment, and she calls it monkey blood. So she tells us that we're giving her monkey blood. No, she's hilarious. Yeah, she's a character. And what's happening is I am using donor stem cells on her. Why? Because she started when she was 85. She was already 85 years old. An autologous treatment would become very cumbersome. In her case, she was frail, she was low weight, and we couldn't find fat. After 60, it's not a good idea we don't have the same amount of cells in the marrow. So at that point, I decided, listen, our best choice is to use umbilical cord stem cells from donor. And she is done wonderful. She's gained weight. She's gained in muscle mass. And she still rules the world with her little fortune.
Very interesting. No, the reason I was asking, Patricia isn't aware, I'm getting some questions from my end over here, too. That's why I was asking some of these questions. Because different ones that I know were aware of the show tonight, and they're very interested and concerned. And as am I. I'm 86, so, anything I decide to do, it's I keep thinking it's for the short term.
You don't sound a year older than 35.
Oh, you
what a compliment.
I'll get anything done you tell me.
There you go, PK. That's a great one.
So many people are concerned about different things. And, of course, the cost, and you covered that, which I think is very helpful for others. And like I said, this one individual I know, he has heart problems and to the nth degree, and has been under treatment for as long as I've known him, and I've said a good 10, 15 years. Yet very young, very much involved, and wants to be involved. And I'm thinking that this might be a great alternative for him, rather than just dealing with the heart in itself. It takes all of it to make it work.
Yes.
Sounds very interesting.
Yeah, for heart, we have a great team for cardiac conditions. So we just need to get his medical history and have the doctors review that, and then we can go ahead and come up with a plan of action.
Sounds fabulous.
We're going to just take a very short commercial break. I'm going to come back with more questions for you both. So stay tuned, everybody. Just a short one here, and we will be right back.
The health benefits of sunlight to our body are well known. Light energizes, light lifts your mood, and light can heal. What if all these benefits were combined into one portable device that you can use in the comfort of your home? The German medical device manufacturer Weber Medical has recently launched the Endolight Band. The Endolight Band looks like a smartwatch, but does so much more. This revolutionary band is equipped with true laser diodes that irradiate the circulating blood via your arteries. Each color provides its own powerful benefits. Red and infrared light deliver energy and regulate your immune system and blood pressure. Yellow is a real mood booster and improves sleep quality. Green impacts oxygen supply, and blue has anti-inflammatory effects. The Endolight Band has 3 programs. Recharge helps you start your day with energy. If you want to unwind and clear your head after a busy day, select Relax. When you need full support, select Recover, activating all diodes at the same time for the full range of effects. Improve your well-being at the touch of a button. 30 minutes per day gives you the advantage, and there are no side effects. Let the Endolight Band bring you a healthier life. Order now at www.wmedicalsystems.com. That's www.wmedicalsystems.com.
Your property tax bill. Have you seen it lately? It's frightening. Your property taxes are going up while your home value is going down. It's time to fight back and win. For the real truth about the property tax system, get attorney Pat Quintilian's book, Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Attorney Quintilian answers all your questions and gives you the facts you need to fight a property tax bill that is spiraling out of control. You'll also read about what happens to property owners who don't check their property records, only to find out too late they're taxed on square footage, fixtures, and even buildings that they don't own. Is this happening to you? Learn your rights. Buy attorney Pat Quintilian's book today. Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Available on Amazon.com.
Welcome back, everyone. We are speaking with two incredible stem cell experts tonight, Ricardo De Cubas and Dr. Maritza Novas, and we are learning so much, everybody. Now, the name of the clinic is Regenestem. Now, Ricardo, tell everybody the best way to get in touch with your clinic and with you and Dr. Novas, because I know you're going to get some phone calls after the show. So,
awesome.
What's the best way?
The best way is the phone number is 305-224-1858. Again, it's 305-224-1858. And then they can reach us if they want to reach us by email, it's info, I-N-F-O, at regenestem.com. Regenestem is spelled REGENESTEM.com.
Terrific. Thank you so much for that. Now, we want to hear some stories of patients that you guys have treated and the results that they did get. Can you share some of that? Obviously, we don't need their names, but just some of their conditions and how the stem cells made a big difference in their lives.
Rick, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll share one and then you share one. We just had a patient leave today who was actually a physician who had terrible sciatica and lumbar pain that he had been dealing with. He works, he works 24-hour shifts at the hospital. He's always on his feet, and he was suffering a lot. And we actually injected his lumbar at 2 levels. And Dr. Novas injected his sciatica, and he came in here today for just a follow-up, and he's doing fantastic. He's really happy with his results, and, he's a believer. He's actually referred a few patients to us already, and, again, the best thing for us is word of mouth. We don't advertise at all. Everything comes word of mouth. So, that's just one case that just recently, came through. Madi, you want to go ahead and maybe share one?
Well, remember, I'm going to share this one about the dancer.
The dancer was a good one.
The dancer is amazing. She came to us. Well, she's a young woman, and she had a lesion because of her work in her hip tendons and in the back. And she came, and her main complaint was, I cannot even stretch. I cannot dance. I cannot raise my legs. So we went ahead and we did her injection about 2 months ago. And I had asked her to come by, and she came by the day before yesterday to see us. And she's a young girl. And she walked in, and she was like, "Hey, Doc, look at me." And then she jumps and she does a split.
Oh, my goodness.
And then she stands up and she raises her leg above her head, and she was holding it with one hand. And I'm like, "What are you doing? Did I not tell you not to stretch like that?" Well, I feel so well. I have been able to go back to dancing. And I'm so happy. So do you think I need another one? And I'm like, you're too young. Just let's wait it out. It's been only 2 months after the injection. She was ecstatic. And like that, we had a story with our group of pediatricians. We had an autistic child, 14 years old. She came to us from Uruguay. And we put together our protocol, and we did injections in her lumbar spine, in her spine. We did IV. We were using her own bone marrow, donor cells, exosomes, and everything. And short of 3 hours after she woke up from the general anesthesia, we did that on the general, of course, she's a child. She was making eye contact.
Wow.
And she was making eye contact with us because the only eye contact that she would make was with her mom, and she would only answer to her name if it was her mom's voice. Otherwise, she wouldn't at all. And we have it on tape. Actually, she actually explained to me how her music box was working, how it worked. And she gave me the whole explanation, and she was looking at me. And that's one of the stories that, like I said, if I hadn't been there, I wouldn't have believed it. But I did. I was there. So long story short, her mom got a grant from the Uruguayan government to bring the kids to our group, to the kids with autism, to treat them. So we have treated about 10 of them.
Wow. That's incredible that you can treat autism and get that kind of a result, because everybody knows that autistic children have a lot of trouble with eye contact, communication, touch, all of those things. So to have any progress is truly amazing with something like that. Now, what about some of these horrible autoimmune diseases? They're all horrible, but ALS is a bad one, MS. What is your experience with those patients?
We've had more experience with MS than with ALS. And in MS, we have seen improvement of the symptoms, but the most important thing is that we have seen lesions, MS lesions, disappear in MRI 6 months after the treatment. So that is in itself stopping the progression. More than anything. Now, we have patients, we have 2 patients that treat themselves. They have rheumatoid arthritis, seronegative rheumatoid arthritis, which is a pretty complicated a pretty complicated case. And we have been treating them for the past 5 years. And this ladies, we did the first treatment using their own adipose derived stem cells, and we saw all the markers in blood go back to normal. Of course, the markers for rheumatoid arthritis were still there, but the inflammatory markers disappeared. They came down to normal levels. And 8 months, the first time was 8 months after the first treatment, they call us and they said, listen, I think I'm a little stiff now and I'm having a little pain. So I think we might be ready for another treatment. And so we did it. And the second time after the second treatment, they were immunomodulated for a year. So
extended.
It's results that we see that are very interesting. They still have rheumatoid arthritis. And there is, that's the fact. They have the rheumatoid arthritis. But the fact that they were symptom-free and they were crisis-free for a year, that says a lot.
It says a lot, Dr. Novas. Yes. And also, I have to say that when you have a chronic illness like any of these autoimmune diseases, they're horrible. And if you can get a month pain-free and symptom-free, I mean, a year is just incredible. And so, people say, well, it's a lot of money for a year. I say, really, it isn't. Because when you're suffering every single day with these horrible symptoms, to have that kind of relief, you really can't put a price on it. You really can't. Well, PK, you were going to say something?
Pardon me?
You were going to ask another question, PK?
No, I was going to say the thing, how often should a person follow through once this is done, they have the procedure? Is there a certain specific time that they stay in contact with you, or to decide that this is the time that they have to do it again? Is there a time frame or anything?
We tend to keep in touch with everybody all the time. So every time a patient comes to us, it can't get rid of us because we're constantly calling and trying and checking on them and asking for lab work and trying to talk to the physician. Their personal physician is amenable to regenerative treatment, so we try to contact them and work together with them to continue the follow-up. Because this is something that you have to continue evaluating. So it depends on the patient, really. But in contact, they keep in contact with us all the time.
It's important to know that you follow through with everyone. That means an awful lot because people get scared when they're unsure of what's taking place. There's nothing better than knowing that they can reach out and touch you and get an answer. That's important.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that interferes with a stem cell treatment? I know you mentioned alcohol, nicotine, but is there anything else? Are there medications that you sometimes say, if you can stay away from this, stay away from it because it will interfere with the success of the stem cells?
Well, we tend to ask our patients to avoid non-steroidal anti-inflammatories because they block the signal. So when you have acute inflammation or you have a tissue that's not working properly, it's sending signals to the cells. So if you inhibit that signal, then the cells will not know where to go. So that's one of the medications that we try to stay away from. Also, when the patient is receiving chemotherapy, obviously makes no sense.
Right.
And long-term steroid use, we try to work with the physician to see if we can reduce or stop the steroids before the treatment. Patients in dialysis, for example, we try to work with the dialysis. So it's that those are a little bit more complicated cases. And say anticoagulants, if you're going to have a procedure done, we will have to manage that as well. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, so there's a short list. Then what about, there's a lot of advertisement right now for red light therapy, either LED or laser. Does that interfere at all, or does that help?
Most to the contrary. In our protocol, we include a low-level diode light that includes the red light. And that's because that red light stimulates the mitochondrial function. And, mitochondria is like the brain, the liver of the cell. Everything happens there. And mitochondria is in charge of managing free radicals and cellular respiration, and a big cascade of chemical reactions happening there. So we need to stimulate, and that's one of the most important points in in functional medicine is to keep mitochondrial health. So actually the red light stimulates the proliferation of the cells and stimulates the release of growth factors. So definitely it will not interfere at all.
It sounds like it'd be a big help. So that's wonderful to hear that. Yes.
Very good.
Well, PK, do you have any other questions, or should we let these people go home?
I think we've done beautifully. I think it's excellent. And it's been a great show. Thank you very, very much. Very important.
No, thank you. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, PK. It was a pleasure.
This has been great, you guys. You are so fabulous and so fantastic, and we can't thank you enough for coming on the show tonight. We know we've had a lot of people listening, and this is very exciting stuff, and here you are at the forefront of all of it. And again, everybody, the name of the clinic is Regenestem. So you can go to Regenestem.com. And if you have any other questions, you can feel free to contact me directly. My email is on our website, supernaturalgirls.com, if I can help and direct you back to Ricardo De Cubas and Dr. Maritza Novas. I'd be happy to. These two are the best, the absolute best. And if you want to get involved with these types of treatments, we recommend you go there. So, anyways, thank you again, Ricardo, Dr. Novas. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we hope to have you back sometime. Tell us more stories, more success stories. This is so exciting. And I know you're still working on more research, and we want to hear all about it. So, everybody, we'll be back next week with another great show. And until then, we'll see you on the Blue Highway. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with Supernatural.